confident, courageous.
Anyway, you have to sit down and ask questions.
Welcome today. I want to share with you when you are determined. When you are determined. There's something that separates people. That is determination. Being persistent, being focused, having a vision, having goals, being driven. It's very difficult for you to become successful in your business, in life, in anything, when you are not determined. A lot of people would want to see some level of success, but then they underplay or they play down determination. It's critical that you are determined if you are into business. It separates you from everybody else. And great things start to happen just because you are determined, you're focused. You have defined yourself to say, this is what I want to do. Some people will say that, I want to start a business. Then maybe 6 months down the line, they want to go and become a teacher. Then another time, they want to start a church. Then another time, they want to join politics. They are not determined. What it takes to become successful in business is that you are determined to say, I want to see the success here before I add anything. Even when you start a business, before you even add other businesses to the business, you must make sure that you have become successful in at least one, in a very appreciable level, before you start to add others to it. So when you're determined, people start to know that this is what your life is about. When you set a goal, when you set a vision, when you set anything, people start to say that this one, you're committed to it. Anybody that you have seen become successful in any field, ask those who are around the person, ask the parents, ask the friends, ask the wife. They were very much determined with that cause. So when you want to become successful in your business, you must decide that this is what my life is about, at least for this period of my life, this duration, this is what I am about. And once you are determined, a lot of things will start to make sense to you. Your freedom actually is in your determination, is in your commitment to a particular cause. For instance, if you're an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship goes beyond just the fact that you have a career. Even though some people will define it as a career, it's more of an expression of the soul that you have. Something you have, an idea, you're able to stay with that idea, and it becomes a business. It's just like you when your mother sees you, and all kind of memories come up to her. Why? Because she has the exact picture of how you started, how you began as a baby, as a child, and then what you have become as a husband, as a wife, as a business owner, as a civil servant, as maybe a husband, because there is memory. The same thing when you start to look back out of your determination. Now you have seen that the business has gotten to this stage. There's some kind of joy, some kind of feeling that comes out of that, just because you can see back and remember, when everybody else was telling you there's no need to focus on this, go and get a job. Go and get a job. So entrepreneurship is actually far beyond just a business. It's a course that you decide that this is what my life is about. It gives you meaning. The mere fact that you are determined to say this is what my life is. It's not just about money, but it's about an expression, being able to say that I am committed to building this kind of business, and I started from this stage, and now it's at this stage. The joy that comes out of it, and just as I said, there's some kind of freedom, and there's some true sense of purpose that comes out of it as well. And you start to define your life that way, and you start to say, I also matter, because after all, there's something that my life, you can see where if you're 20 years, if you're 30 years, if you're 40 years, you can see where you spent your life, because now there is fruit for it, there is evidence. There is a product for it. There's something that you can see and say that this is where I spent the last 5 years of my life on this business, and this is what the business has become. So entrepreneurship is actually an expression of yourself, and it is a product of your willingness, your resolve, to say that I'm going to stay with this and keep on pushing. And a lot of young boys, a lot of young women, we need you to understand this, that when you commit to say, I want to start a business, because most of us would want to start a business, we would have to start a business anyway, because we've been carrying this CV for how many years now? Nobody's calling you. 3 years after school, nobody has given you any job, and you still believe that this certificate is worth something. Maybe it's worth something, it's on a paper, it's good, but your life, you're still growing. So if you have started something and people have started to order, be glad that at least you have had an idea, and that idea is starting to make sense. The next step is you being so much committed to this that I want to take this to the next level. Determination is so key, because if you're not determined, you will give up. A lot of things will come up at you. I mean, a lot of people will try to tell you there's no need, you're wasting your life. A lot of people will laugh at you. That's part of it. A lot of people will discourage you, especially those who are close to you. And because when you start anything, it doesn't look nice, it doesn't look professional, it doesn't look like it makes sense to you. Anybody who ever started anything, one way or the other, was talked to stop, was laughed at, was told you are wasting your time. This one is below you. There's no need for you to go for this. Anybody, whoever, because all of us, anything that you see, no matter how what is the English word? How successful you think this thing is now. When they started, the person, the originator, the promoter, when they started it never looked like that. Especially if it was the first one. So anything that you hear, anything that you see, they never look like that. So now they are at a level that you will want to own it, because somebody else was so much determined. They decided to stay with it, to say, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it until I become successful. I'm going to do this until I become successful. So it's very much important that you decide, you make critical decision to say, I'm going to. And most people have never committed to do anything, nothing in their lives. Everything that they do, they just, they don't show full commitment to it. They don't want to sacrifice anything. They don't want to spend a lot of time if you decide to build a business. And when others are going to look for fun, when others are having party, when others are going for everything, you are still trying to figure things out yourself. You become technically antisocial. You become a bit lonely. You become, so much focus on this baby, on this child, on this seed, on this business, and it cuts you from a lot of people. But once it starts to work, and you cannot be lonely, you cannot be cut out of a lot of things if you're not determined, if you're not strong with it, if you're not committed. So the difference between your failure and your success actually is the fact that you were determined or you were not determined. So entrepreneurship, business, determination is key. If you are not determined, you will give up. And it's better to do something with your life or try to be liked and accepted by everybody. And the moment you are determined on a particular course, not everybody is going to agree with you. Not everybody is going to support you. Not everybody is going to say what you're saying makes sense. But at least this is something that is in your heart, and you want to make sure that it comes out and it benefits other people. So I want to say thank you. Thank you very much for watching. Determination. You've got to determine to make sure that this idea, this business, this thing you have in your heart becomes a reality, and it becomes successful. Thank you. Confident, courageous.
Anyway, you have to sit down and ask questions and look for